So welcome back. So in our Selenium with Python series, today we are going to see how we can execute the JavaScript into the Selenium Python library. So JavaScript is an important part in browser automation. JavaScript itself provides few of the out-of-box methods actually to identify a particular browser element or even to perform certain operations like you can click a particular button, you can even get the text, or you can even send a particular value to a particular element, and some more features also javascript gives those things. And then most of the front end developers normally use the javascript to perform their operations. So now the question comes, why do we need to have the javascript in our selenium scripts? So the thing is that a few of the times when the selenium is not able to click a particular element, or it's not able to perform certain operation, we could use the javascript into our selenium WebDriver. So basically we are injecting the javascripts into our WebDriver, and then we are performing that action. Okay, so let's see that in action. So for this I'm using our demo site, and if you see now, let me show you how exactly a javascript I can execute into the browser window itself. So if you go to this console, right click and go to inspect, and then you go to the console tab. Now if you see here, so document is basically the entire document. You can see it is highlighting the document. When I put dot, if I put as title, you can see it is giving the title of this particular page. The same thing, let's say that if I put document dot url, and then it gives me the url that I'm currently using or loaded. So the same thing, let's say that I want to access this particular field actually. So what I can do, I can put document dot get element by id. So it is again, like as I told, how selenium is giving its own methods, javascript has its own inbuilt methods or out of box methods where we can identify different things. So here if I put this username, that is the id of that particular element. Now if I put, you can see it is even able to identify that. Even you can do like this also. Let's say that if I say documents, let me just make it like this, get elements by tag name, and then if I say that input, let's say that I'm doing input, so it will give list out all the inputs. So here you can see it is giving a total of how many, 20 elements actually from this. Now if you mouse over, you can see all the elements it is giving, whatever it is there, you can see everything it is identifying. So we can have even single element identification, even we can identify multiple elements as well from there. Even we can scroll on this page by using this javascript, because selenium don't have any inbuilt what you call out of box method actually to scroll on this page, but we can use the javascripts inside or injecting inside the WebDriver. Okay, so there are even more features, like whatever you can do pretty much with the selenium browser actions, those browser actions you can pretty much do with the javascript. I'm not going to much details, as in when you need you can get into that. Okay, but this is just a push up for you guys that what are the capabilities of selenium, or what selenium can do with javascript, so that based on your need you can find out different things. Okay, fine. So now let's see how we can. So now this is basically the javascripts I'm executing in console, right? But I cannot automate it here. So for this actually I need to go to the code base actually by using the selenium python library. So for this what I will do, I will right click on this elements package, create a new file, and I will make it test underscore. I will just say that javascript.py. Okay, some name I'm giving here because I'm using pytest, so I have to mention that as a test keyword. So what I will do with my existing code, I'm just writing this one. So the basic thing I have to do, that I'm opening a chrome browser, and then I'm loading that url, waiting for some time, then asserting that. Let's say that I want to keep it with that only. Okay, this much I'm doing, and we have already seen by running this test code also. So I'm not doing that again. Okay, so now what are the possibilities of the JavaScript and how do we inject inside the driver? That is what we need to see. So now the driver script is our driver object, right? Now when I put this driver dot, I will get a method actually that is called as execute script. You can see. Now this execute script basically accepts a script, a basic JavaScript, and any arguments to put inside that script. These both you need. So let me first see this one. Okay, so now what I can do that we have seen, right, how to get the title actually. So I want to execute that. So for this, what you need to do first, so you need to put it into a double quote actually because it's a string. So that script you need to put inside a double quote actually. So what I will do, return document dot I will say title. So now what this does basically, so this document title is our basic JavaScript, right? So return whatever the result you are getting to this execute script. Now this execute script will in turn use the driver object and will perform that operation. Perform that operation means whatever the string it is coming, that will assign to this execute script. Now this is basically returning a string, right? So I can print this one. So I will say print and then I will put it into a bracket and here I will say title. Okay, I am putting this one. Fine. Okay, the same thing. Now let's see a few of the other JavaScript stuff and then we will try to execute this one to see what output it is coming. Okay, fine. Now the next thing is that driver dot, there is something called as URL, right? So execute script and then I will copy this one and then change a bit. Let me just do that. And then here, let me just cut this one. And here driver dot execute script, instead of title I will say URL. I think it is capital letter and then here I will say URL. Okay, like this I can do. Fine. Okay, now even I can get whether the page is completely loaded or not. Sounds interesting, right? So I can say that return document dot, there is a method called ready state. And another thing to note down, there is no specific intelligence of this JavaScript actually. You have to go to any JavaScript documentation site and there actually you need to get the exact what you call the JavaScript and get it, because if you are dealing with document one or something or ready state as small, then it might not return you proper result, even it won't give you any error also. So that is one of the thing you need to make sure. And so that's why actually we don't normally use what do you call extensively these JavaScripts. Based on your need actually you can utilize all these JavaScript methods or whatever the available features are there. Okay, so I'm making it as a ready state and let me print this one whatever it will return. So I will say that here I will say is page loaded, something I'm giving so that it will be understandable when we see the result actually. So and here I will just say that driver dot execute script and then I will put this execute script inside the execute script, this entire thing actually. Okay, so this will basically return me whether the page is whatever the page we are trying to load it, whether it is loaded or not. If it is loaded it will give me true or else it will give me false. Fine, or I think it is giving complete actually, complete or progress, all those things. Okay, fine. Now let me see till this much actually, then we will see. And then I'm just quitting my browser. Fine, let me first do this much. And how do I run? I will use the pytest command -sv for more output verbose, and then I will go to the src folder elements and then I will try to execute this particular file. Okay, it went so fast, not a problem. We are not going to I mean we are not executing any scripts inside that, right? Or we are not automating, we are just fetching the details. So you can see the title, it printed here, it printed the URL, is page loaded. Yeah, by the time we are running this one, it already completed actually this one. So like this you can get the details. Like for some time, let's say that this ready state actually I found most interesting. You can use it in any of your frameworks, Okay, so the thing is that what you can do, you can execute, you can create this particular script or this particular code line into a proper method actually, and you can keep it into a utility method. Now what happens whenever you see that if you are doing any kind of delete or add operation, if your page takes a certain amount of time to load actually, so what you can do, you can put a while loop actually. So while this don't return complete, thread your time dot sleep actually. Okay, like that you can make it. Okay, so that what will happen till your what you call page is complete, page loaded completely, it won't go to the next line of code. So that is one of the synchronization you can use it. So this particular line is really handy. You can create a utility method and then call it whenever you feel like your a particular page takes a certain amount of time. Fine. Okay. So these are different, what you call ways you can do that. Even what you can do, you can even load a particular URL by using JavaScript. Okay. So the command is, or the code line is driver dot execute script. Everything you need to make it with a driver dot execute script only. So window dot location, and then inside this you pass that URL. Sorry, not here. I think equal to. So you need to put the equal to, and then in single quote you need to provide the URL of your browser actually, whichever you want to load it. So let's say that I want to go back to the home page. So here what I can do, inside the single quote I can keep like this. So here I will comment everything because we already got to know what to do with this one. Okay, now what happens? Let me just load it. Let's try to identify the element by using JavaScript. We always use the what do you call, by using the driver dot find element, right? Today we are going to do some operation by using the pure JavaScript. Okay, now I want to click on this sign up button actually. So now the sign up form link is actually sign up form actually. It's a link basically. Okay, so what I can do here, let me go to this one, and after doing this one I'll do one thing. I'll go here, so I will say driver. Okay, maybe. Okay, let's do one thing. Driver dot execute script. Once this particular page is loaded, what I will do here, let's try to click on that particular button actually. So what I will do here, for clicking for a particular button, so we have something called as a document actually. So by using the document dot get element by ID or something we are doing, right? So the same thing we need to do that. So I will show you one hybrid operation actually. So element equal to driver dot execute script, and here I will say document dot, there is something called as a query selector. Now let me show you here actually that one document. So there is something called as a query selector actually. So if you see this one, like we have this get element by ID, get element by tag name, the same thing we have something called as a query selector. And this is basically, query selector is nothing but your CSS selector. Okay, so in this we will be adding a CSS selector. Now this is bit peculiar actually in this way, because we cannot use the CSS selector to get the text actually. The meaning is that if I go to this in the inspector, if you see this one, this contains text whatever it is there, right? This text is not available in CSS. Okay, and normally with JavaScript the XPath is not recommendable because we have to use actually document dot evaluate, but most of the time it doesn't work actually. So when you are dealing with a CSS selector, by to get to identify the element, if there is no ID or nothing, then this is bit difficult actually. You cannot use this text into your CSS selector. I mean, so far I did not get anything. So that's why it is recommended to get the parent element, so that by index wise this a links you can get it, or else another option is there, you can use this href actually to this one. So let's try different options actually and see if it is coming or not. For an instance, if I go to this here, I can even do like this actually. So I will put like this href, and then I will put equal to, and I will put that name. So that is basically demo, and then slash, and then that is sign up. Let's see if this is coming or not, and you can see it is coming, so I can even use this one. Okay, so some attribute you need to use actually there. So let's go to this particular console, and here what we will do, we will copy paste that particular code actually. Now let's see, you can see it is identifying here, so that is what we are going to do. So what I will do, simply I will copy this one, and I will make this one document instead of document, this entire thing, and then here I will say that return me that one, so that it will return me that particular element whatever it is there. Fine. Okay, so after, and here I need to put a double quote. Let's see what is missing here. Maybe I can give a escape character. Sometimes it won't work, so I'm just giving an escape character so that it will be working fine. Fine. So whatever I'm what do you call dealing with after loading this particular page, it will go and identify the sign up by using the JavaScript. Once I got this, so I have two options. I can directly say that element dot click. I can do that, or else even I can use the what do you call click operation even by using the JavaScript itself only. So let's do that. So here what I will do, this particular stuff, let it be here, and let's do one thing. I will say driver dot execute script. Okay, and here I will write another JavaScript which is basically arguments of 0 means the first element dot click method. So click method is basically the JavaScript's click method, and I'm putting a semicolon. I think it is optional, and then I will put that element actually. Let's see if this is working or not. Okay, so let me run this one, and before to that let me provide some time dot slip so that we can see if it is really working or not, and I can do a import of this time package. Now let's run this one. Okay, you can see, and let's see, I think it has thrown error actually. Let's see what is that error it is coming. So it's telling that Windows is not defined. Okay, which windows we need to see. Okay, you know what, this is window dot location, not windows actually. So let me close this browser window and then rerun. Okay, as you can see, successfully it done everything. So it went to this URL by using this execute command. So this is again another way of launching your browser. Then it identified the element, and then by using the what you call the JavaScript itself only, we have executed the click operation actually. Okay, so here I can say using JavaScript identify and click on the element. Okay, you know, this is the problem if you are coming from a Java background. It has to be a has. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Then now what else we can do that? Okay, now we have seen how we can handle this button, right? This is basically button or anything on the click operation. You can use this particular commands, JavaScripts on the radio buttons, on your links, on your buttons, anywhere, any click operation you can do like this. We have something, even we can use the send keys also to add to what you call enter some value, right? Why not we can use the JavaScript to enter or to send some value to a particular field, actually to particular text box. Now by staying on this screen, why not I can enter some value to this particular box. Now for this what I will do, let me just do one thing, let me comment all these things. And you know what, there is another way we can comment. We have seen that multi-line comment, right? So I can put like this, and here I don't comment this one, this single line, and this entire thing is one set actually. So whenever you are practicing and taking my code from my blog qavalidation.com, you can just uncomment this one and this one, you can execute this one. Okay, so multi-line comments are very useful actually when you deal with this practicing and all those things. Fine. Okay, so I have loaded this one. Now I have to work on this particular element. Now if you go to this inspect, you will see the id is username. Okay, so what I will do now, first I will identify that particular element and then I will add some value actually to that. Okay, now there is one option actually by using the driver.execute script. I can use in one script, I can add, I can identify the element and also I can enter some value. Now let's see that. Okay, so first I will say document dot get element. Always what I tend to do, I come back here, I go to this console, and because it has its own intelligence, right, so why not I can use this one. And then I will say single quote and here I will put the username. You can see that particular element is identifiable. I will say dot value and then I will put equal to, I will find something, I will say QAP box. Let's see if this is working or not. You can see it even entered the value also here. So why not I can use directly this one so that I will not get any syntax errors while I'm running this particular script. So I will just need to say return and then delete everything, and whatever I copied from there I can paste it. Simple actually. I always tend to do this one. Okay, because if I write here I might get some problem actually. Like here you would have seen I put an extra s, right? So those things you can avoid it here. And always you remember one thing in Python, do not give more than 2 lines of space actually. Okay, it has to be below 2 lines only, or else you will get an warning. Okay, now let's try to run this particular code. You can see it entered so fast actually. Like if you want to see this, first it should be empty, then it will add some value. So let me do one thing, let me put some 5 seconds and then I will put some 4 seconds and then you can see the value is entered or not. Okay, it's blank. Now you can see, and it will wait for 4 seconds, then close the browser. Fine. This is that simple actually. You can use all these things. Fine. Even what you can do now, okay, now you have identified the element, you have entered the value. What if I want to fetch some particular value? Because see, we have seen pretty much all the operations, browser operations, right? We can click, we can identify, we can send some text. Why not we can even access the value that is there inside? Okay, so let me just make it as a 2 seconds, and then once I will enter that, let me print that value actually, whatever I'm getting from there. So to print this one, first I need to get the value, right? So for this, now why not we can go here and then fetch that value. So for this I need to first get the what do you call, identify the element. Let's see if this is giving me the value or not. Great, it is giving me that value. So if you want to enter something after value, you enter that text. If you want to fetch the value, just use this value only. So let me copy paste, and inside this I want to print that one. So why not I can say like this, entered value, and then I will just put like this, and don't forget to make it as execute script. Inside this, what you need to do, in double quote return and then this value, because it has to return. It is just executing that. You have to return to this method actually, whatever you are executing here in this script. Fine. Okay, now let's see if it is giving proper output or not. Okay, and then it should even fetch the value and then close the browser. Okay, you can see entered value is QAB box and then it quit the browser. Fine. Okay, we could do all possible what you call Selenium operations in JavaScript. Okay, uh, there is one more thing actually. You can do another option actually. We can leverage the query selector actually in this. Now query selector is basically your what do you call, the CSS selector, right? We have seen that by identifying the what you call link text actually. So why not we can extend that and see what other capabilities are there with this query selector. So what I will do, I will put driver.execute script. Yeah, again as usual, let me go back to this one and then write something here, driver.query selector. Oops, what happened? Oops, not driver, it should be document dot query selector. Inside this I want to, let's say there is a checkbox, you will see, or else radio button. Let's say that I want to check a particular checkbox, actually radio button. Let's say that I want to put this 7 actually. Now I will go and inspect, and if you see something here, that is the value is 7. You can see there is a value attribute. I can use this value attribute in my document, what you call document query selector, to check that checkbox. Okay, this checkbox I want to do that. So what I can do, let me put this one here. Now what I will do here, I'll put in double quote, okay, document dot query selector. It's a input, right? The tag is input. Okay, inside this I will say value equal to simple thing 7, right? So I will say 7, and probably it is all small letters. Let me just check it very quickly. You can see it is giving me this one. Now why not I can check this checkbox actually. So for this what I will do, there is something called as a checked, actually one attribute is there. You can see checked equal to, I will put it as a true. You can see now this 7 checkbox got checked. So why not I can use this one inside my script. Actually what I need to do I need to do a return here, because I'm just performing specific operation only, so I need not to basically do a return. Here also I don't need a return, because I'm not doing anything actually after the value is entered. But here I want to do, because I'm returning something. Okay, so now let's see without returning whether it is working fine or not. Okay, and as usual, any double quotes inside, you need to make it as escape actually. Okay, fine. Now let's see if it is executing or not. And as I was telling, let me put it everything in multi-line comment so that we can specifically see that particular option there. Fine. Okay, so now what it will do, it will launch the browser and then render the URL, wait for 2 seconds, and then it will check this checkbox. And what I will do, I'll put some weight here, and hopefully it won't scroll actually. So let's give some more weight here and run this particular script. And here you can see it clicked on the 7 check radio button. Okay, the same thing you can do. Fine. Okay, so it's pretty much fun, right? So you can just execute in your console, browser console. You feel like a front-end developer where you are doing few operations and then putting that into a code actually. Fine. Now one last thing we will see on this JavaScript capabilities, that how to scroll actually. Okay, so we will see a particular, what do you call, an extensive scrolling session in our upcoming sessions, but today we will see the JavaScript capability of how a basic scroll is happening. So for this what I will do, I will say driver dot execute script, and here let me just do again, let's go back to this console, because I love to execute here and see whether it is working or not. So here, okay, here I don't want to identify anything, so what I will do, window, not windows, keep that in mind. So I will see something called as scroll actually. So scroll to, you will see something scroll to, it's a method actually. Here you can see it is asking a x coordinate and y coordinate, because I want to scroll from up and down, so I'm making the x-axis at 0. So don't do any scrolling here and here, scroll here and here. Okay, so up and down. So here what I will do, I don't know how much I need to scroll, so I'm saying that go till the extreme bottom of the page. So document body dot scroll height, there is something here. So till you can scroll, till whatever scroll you can do that, go and scroll. So here you are free to scroll till the end of the page. So for this, let me keep at the beginning of the page, and you can see it is my end of the page. Okay, that is what I want to execute inside my driver script actually. So here, and even I don't want to return anything, I want to just execute this one. Fine, now let's see if it is executing or not, and we'll wait for some time. Fine, now let's go and do that. Okay, you can see it went to the bottom of the page. Fine, and then it closed the browser. Fine. Okay, I think those are the pretty much the JavaScript stuff which you can do actually. These are the capabilities. If you know more JavaScript operations and if you encounter any of these things, you can comment here or else you can even practice your own. Okay, and all this code base whichever we have discussed, I will put it into the blog actually, qavalidation.com. I'll put that link into the description. You can go back, copy paste that so that you need not to spend more time and you can practice. Okay, so hope this session helpful. Do share and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.